Yo, what up guys, Mysterious here. With the recent Orianna buffs, I thought it would be time to bring back the How to Beat series and cover this champion, being Orianna, which is an incredibly strong early lane bully most of the times. And that's also what we're going to be focusing on in this episode is how can we actually beat Orianna in the lane. Well, I'm going to be honest, if we play against a very good Orianna, it's going to be extremely hard to beat her in the lane, especially in the 1v1, because the champion is built to do that in the 1v1. That's also starting instantly with her strengths. One of her best strengths is her early lane bully potential. She's an early lane bully. She has therefore a lot of wave control. She can do with the wave what she wants. She's very good at pushing the wave. She has a lot of AoE, and she also has the option to zone you from the wave, zone you from a few creeps. That's basically what makes Orianna so oppressive to play against in most cases. And in this example, you can already see I'm so far back in the lane right here because I know that I want to be scaling. I know that I can outskill Orianna, but Orianna just beats the shit out of me in lane. So I have to be very careful with my positioning and just stand extremely far back. Her weaknesses, though, are she has no mobility. It's quite hard to play Orianna from behind because of how snowbally she is. She's very good from ahead, but very rough to play from behind. And because she has no mobility, it's extremely easy to just gank her. As we can also see in this example, my Briar is just spam ganking this Orianna, and that basically frees up my early lane. Because of Orianna being so behind in the lane right now, even though I get bait pinged, it's practically impossible for Ori to play. I can now just freely scale up, hit my item spikes, and the game actually becomes so much easier for me. So the fact that she has no mobility, she's rough from behind, those are definitely exploitable weaknesses, especially if we play some early game aggressive stuff that also likes to skirmish in the early game. That's another weakness from her. We want to be making the game chaotic, jumping onto her. That's basically what Orianna is weak against, and that's what we should mainly be exploiting to bully the Orianna. But as we said in the 1v1, that can be really rough to do. There is a few tricks and a few tips that I want to share with you guys about what we can do against Orianna in the 1v1. My top 3 tips to play against Orianna in the 1v1 is actually, first of all, make her Q go from side to side. So what does that mean? Making her Q go from side to side. Orianna wants to be looking to harass you in the lane. She wants to be getting damage upon you. So what I actually do is I move my character from one side to the lane to the other side of the lane. And that makes it very hard for her Q to actually constantly connect onto me, because her Q is constantly on one side of the lane. That gives me more room, more time to actually dodge the incoming skill shot, because it takes a longer time to travel, it's easier to anticipate, and therefore it's also much easier to dodge. So that's my number 1 tip to play against an Orianna in lane, is use the sides of your lane very well to give yourself more time to react to her Q. Her Q has an insanely long range, also pretty fast travel time, and a very short cooldown, and it will be poking us down otherwise. Another thing that we can do is Orianna's actually not the strongest in trading. She just wants to be taking these 10 for 0, 10% HP for your HP for 0% of Orianna's HP trades on the go. And if we can actually avoid that trading pattern and actually trade back onto her, she becomes quite weak. So what we can do is we can actually trick her by faking CS, and by that we're going to bait out her Q. And once she has no Q, it's quite easy to trade onto the Orianna. And finally, one thing that we can do is we can just gank her, call our jungler, because Orianna is going to be pushing a lot, because she's going to be so strong early. She has a lot of early wave control, so she's going to be pushing a lot. And if we know that she's going to be pushing a lot and she has no mobility, that makes her extremely vulnerable to ganks. And also when she's behind, it's going to be very hard for her to play. So don't hesitate to call your jungler. She's a very strong 1v1 champion, but her 2v2, especially pre-level 6, is practically non-existent. So we need to be calling the reinforcements, speeding up the game pace, having these early game skirmishes or action around mid. Orianna just really struggles against that. If we isolate the lane, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. And then finally, what kind of champions do we want to be drafting and do we not want to be drafting against Orianna? We do not really want to be playing these mid-range champions like Ryze, Vex, are very hard to trade back into Ori. We're gonna get out-traded, we're gonna get bullied in the lane. Champions that we do want to be playing are champions like Yone, Yasuo. These are the champions that actually can get onto the Orianna, and if we actually get onto the Orianna, we can mess her up with extended trades. Our extended trades are just so much better. Yone is a perfect example. Goes onto the Orianna and backs off once he's done his extended trade. It's really hard for an Orianna to play against that, and it's also really hard for her to bully the Yone out in lane. That's exactly what we want to be doing and picking, especially against an Orianna, to make our life easier. So this was a little bit of a shorter style of how to beat series. I wanted to do a bit more compact, a bit faster, so you guys have the same information in a bit less of the time. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this faster style of how to beat series, and I'll see you guys next week. Next week with actually a new champion that we're going to be covering in the how to beat series. Thank you all for watching and have a great day.